I don't know if you wanted to go into the Tucker thing or you got something first.
Let's do that, yeah. Let's talk about Tucker Carlson.
So, yeah, we just talked about people being fed up, and Tucker came out the other day on a podcast and said, look, I can't be a Democrat because I don't agree with them, but I will not support Republicans who do not support this country. And, that's what he said. And so I'm out. And that, of course, caused an earthquake on social media and everywhere for all these, the rhinos and everybody else, the Mark Levins and all them that say, oh, nobody cares what Tucker thinks. He's isolated and nobody listens to Tucker. They've been throwing a fit for days now, every day.
Well, that's funny for Mark Levin to say that. I think his numbers are very low.
Oh, yeah. Tucker does more in 1 week than Levin does in a year on views.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not even...
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm kind of surprised that people don't want to listen to Mark Levin's, his fingernails on a chalkboard voice every night.
Yeah, well, on the way over here, when I was coming over here, it was 7 o'clock, and that's when he comes on the radio normally. Well, I was surprised and not surprised. The surprise was that he wasn't on there tonight. Some other guy, he said, well, I got taken, I had to step in for Mark Levin, because he called me and he said, hey, I need you. I'm in Israel. Of course he's in Israel. And I thought to myself, I wish he'd stay.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
My goodness.
Yeah, so back to the Tucker thing. That is a big deal because a lot of people still listen to Tucker for good reason, I think. Mm-hmm. He's been America first, proven over and over again. More
recently, in my opinion, he became... a lot more believable and had a lot more credibility because he turned around on the old Tucker. He was not that old mainstream Tucker anymore.
Yeah, right. And if you haven't listened to him and gave him a fair shot, you should. But,
oh, my goodness.
I listen to him pretty regularly, and I agree with 90% and maybe 95% of the stuff he says. So,
my God, check out his 9/11 documentary.
Right.
It's groundbreaking. It's like if I were to... I'm a big 9/11 guy. Mm-hmm. And I was very much satisfied with all the... he explored every angle and talked about all the questions that I pretty much had about the terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and we're going to have to get to that here in a minute. Tucker was warning about a false flag attack. We can't forget to mention that.
Yeah, but to go back to this, because I want to spend a minute on it. It's like, why this matters is people like Tucker, if they'll stand up and say, look, I'm not going to do it, and he's come out since then and said, I might could get behind JD depending on how he goes. Talking about JD Vance. But it really seems like he's putting the dominoes in a row to get behind or start a third-party bid or something, as the America First Party, which is what we just talked about.
Right.
And MTG already said, Marjorie Taylor Greene already came out and said, hey, I'm also right there. I could never be a Democrat, but I'm tired of these America Last Republicans, so I'm with you, Tucker, and... there's a bunch more people that are right there with him. Mm-hmm. Big names, even. I think Thomas Massey's right there. There's others, but
if Donald Trump was trying to accidentally put together a third party, he couldn't have done much better if he'd tried.
Yeah, especially if Vance goes that way, I think that would be huge too.
Oh my goodness!
But
massive.
It's just and. All these the neocons and all them. Oh, he's the worst. He's a traitor. He's no. He's actually standing up for America first, which is what he says he is.
JD Vance, you mean?
No, I mean Tucker.
Oh, Tucker, indeed. Okay,
but
yes.
They're slamming him, of course. Tucker's the worst, and he's a traitor. But I'm telling you, that's not to be slept on. Tucker making a big wave like that means something.
Tucker. Started understanding that the conspiracy theorists were right. Mm-hmm. He apologized to Alex Jones. He turned around on his pro-war views of the past and became vehemently anti-war. Tucker, in my opinion, has been a hero who's put his own life at risk. I mean, they were considering bringing him up on charges regarding his war and communication with Iranians trying to stop the war. So Tucker was being investigated. Who else were they threatening with that kind of action? Yeah. Trump has called them all traitors. In my opinion, they are true patriots that understand that war is a racket, just like Marine Corps General Smedley Butler warned us it was 1935.
Yeah, and there's still some cult members of the MAGA group. the Trump over everything supporters who are upset about this too. The other day on Facebook, it's like the New Jersey Republicans group or some group. I don't know how I got in it. I'm not New Jersey Republican, but
Right.
they were some of the most boomer, outlandish takes I ever heard on there. But one said is an old lady. I looked on her. She's probably in her 60s or 70s, and she said, "Enough is enough. Tucker is out of control. We need to go and arrest him right now," because he came out and said that he's not a Republican anymore. I said, "Do you hear yourself? Arrest? That's what we're doing here in America." I almost fell out of my chair. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Those are the worst kind of cult people. They're just as bad or worse than the Democrats. And
the party, whether people like it as the boomers and what die off, the party is going to become the more libertarian.
Yes, and Israel knows. That's why they want to get these things through, because they know that their days as running over us, as a country, are over.
Right.
Because as the older boomer generation, goes out to pasture, the young people are not going to have it.
No.
Anybody under 40 is done with it.
Y'all, if you don't understand this, the young people are having a hard time buying a house, living the American dream, and they're going to realize, they're sending a lot of money overseas to kill people. And I truly believe that's another reason why America First truly represents conservatism, because the best conservatives have a God they fear.
Yeah.
And if you fear God, and for other reasons, you don't want to see children. I mean, people talk about the criminality of the hiding of the Epstein files and the covering up for pedophiles, these pedo protectors. Well, what about people that straight up want to kill kids?
Yeah.
Because if you're a warmonger, let me tell you something right now. You're killing kids, and you're blowing their arms off, and you're disabling them for life. It's not Christian, and I don't care if you are a kid in Gaza or a kid in Lebanon or a kid in Arkansas. You deserve to be protected by all the adults in the world.
Right, and I don't know who said it. I wish I can remember right now, but they actually brought that whole point up this week. There's all these Republicans that, and maybe JP.
Sears?
Yeah, maybe it's him, but they did a whole thing about all these Republicans claim to be pro-life, and you can't murder the kids and the babies and all that, but they have nothing to say when it's happening over there, and they're killing innocent people.
Right.
And kids.
And lots of them.
Lots. Tens of thousands of...
I'll tell you one thing that made my blood boil, Chris, and that was when hearing these reports of Israeli centers where they set up places for people to come get food, and then when they show up, they begin shooting them.
Yeah.
Basically like a deer feeder for human beings. And that just made me, that's God. I have to say something about that to sleep at night. That made me so ill with anger.
Well, I'm sure you heard that quote by the, what was he, the former, let me look real quick if you want to keep going, but he was like the former for Israeli, what was his position? He basically said...
Israeli defense minister, maybe?
Yeah, he had said that, if for every one person or one soldier in the IDF that get killed, we need to have 1,000 Lebanon mothers need to cry, and then he said we need to burn it all down, and it was just evil.
Psychotic
evilness.
Yeah. And that's why I'm both surprised and also not surprised to see Trump come out and call it like it is, because of the pressure he's got to be feeling from the bottom of people who are fed up with these wars that they know have no direct benefit or interest for America. And is there anything else you want to say about Israel and Iran right now, Chris, or are we good on that?
As far as the war, you mean?
Yeah, and I guess we don't have anything new to say about the merger yet, the Section 219 of the NDAA.
We just know that they're both going to be in the floor within a couple of weeks. I would say there's a bunch of Republicans right now that said in the House that said, I'm not going to agree to anything right now. No bills will pass until we get the SAVE Act. Now, I hope they stick to that.
Right. Just because of this, mainly. If your friends and family don't know about this, you've got to get them informed on this attempt, basically for Israel to take over the United States military.
Yeah, here we go. So it said this guy, he's the former Israel National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, I guess is how you say it. He said, for every tear of an Israeli mother, 1,000 Lebanese mothers must weep. All of Lebanon must burn. And then he just went on, to say all kinds of stuff about how he said it again, and 1,000 Lebanon mothers must weep over one, and then he wanted to destroy the whole place. That's just crazy.
So even if they don't make one Israeli soldier's mom weep, they're going to burn it down anyway.
And that's at the same time J.D. Vance is saying, hey, Israel, calm down. You got 9 million people. You can't kill your way out of this situation. Yeah. But the problem is they think they can. And, if we really stand up and Trump and them continue to say, hey, no, stop it, Israel, or we're going to take your stuff, there's a very high probability they're going to do some kind of a false flag. And you wanted to go in on that here in a minute, but they've already said they'll either do some kind of a false flag on us or over there, and they'll blame Iran directly, whatever they're going to do to try to get us back in the war, or what the other alternative is worse, and that would be that one of those 300 nukes, or they sit on, as Lindsey Graham said, use the nukes if you have to. They're just crazy enough to do it.
Well, Lindsey Graham is where perversion and warmongering come together, and a lot of you out there probably don't realize there's probably something wrong with you, or maybe you're not directly involved in war, maybe you haven't seen enough of it, but
right.
People who were there and saw war, like General Douglas MacArthur, called for war to be made illegal.
Right.
And so they know the horror of it, and we are here to prevent more that just leads to more when it comes to violence. We should mind our own borders and try to get along with our neighbors. So we're not always saying America only. I think America first is a better way of looking at it.
Yeah, I lean more towards America only than not the opposite, America first, but America first is a pretty mainstream idea in a way that most people can understand that. So
yeah,
I'm not against fair and free trades and that make sense for everybody involved, but so yeah, I just don't want us being the policemen of the world and everything else.
Well, absolutely. And so moving back into Tucker Carlson, he warned, as we have been warning you, we made videos months back talking about the danger of a false flag terror attack. And if you're not aware of what that means, that is an attack where something is bombed or blown up, civilians killed, and then you blame your political enemies and use that to go after them. Much like when Nazi Germany killed prisoners and dressed them in Nazi uniforms to make it look like the Polish had attacked them.
The Gulf of Tonkin was another one that's undisputed at this point that happened, and that was blamed to get us into that war.
False flag coming from actual flags you would use on a ship. They would actually fly some other group or country's flag
and then attack.
Right, and therefore blame your political enemies. 9/11 being the biggest example we've ever seen of pretty much what's confirmed now, a false flag attack to get the United States involved in this war on terror that went on for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. And that was a double joint effort, in my opinion. That was the neocons at the time that wanted to go to war and wanted to pass the Patriot Act and everything else, and Israel. Both of them wanted us to get into the wars, and it worked because we were stuck in the Middle East for 20 years after that.
Right. And so as we warned you, when the establishment of war is in trouble with public opinion, they want to blow something up and get your sympathy behind the war effort once again. And Tucker has warned now of, and that's basically the same thing we were talking about, Israel more likely setting off maybe even a nuclear weapon somewhere to get the United States behind this war once again.
I can't, at this point, I can't put anything past them. They're showing that they have no respect for anything, us or innocent people or nothing. So
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everyone that they've ever killed is innocent, because there's not, but they're killing way too many innocent people.
If you've seen some of these cityscapes of places in like Gaza or Lebanon where they've bombed, it looks like, a complete city laid to waste.
Yeah.
And it is unlivable. There are no roofs on anything. Like all the structures are collapsed. It is apocalyptic.
Right.
And it's a real, and like I said, the feeding centers where they're calling people to get food and then they start shooting people, just makes me rage and want to fully, I'm sorry, but at that point, you're an ally like that, with an ally like that, who needs the enemies geopolitically in the world? Not to mention the attack on the USS Liberty and the spying, where apparently Israeli spies had foreknowledge of the 9/11 attacks and did not pass that on to American authorities. That's not an ally.
No.
And 3,000 Americans, I think, would agree with me if they were here to speak for themselves.
Yes.
So. But yeah, Tucker Carlson being very brave and very wise in warning the people, hopefully where it won't happen, a false flag attack, maybe even of a nuclear nature by Israel, but made to look like Iran has done it. So that's a very real threat we always face. And do you want to dive into the Charlie Kirk, or you want something else to say about it?
Is it wherever you want to go next? We can do that whenever. So.
Well, Charlie Kirk news. Apparently, let me see here. There's been some news in the trial.
Yeah, so yesterday it came out, I think, that the judge, of course, he's not a very good judge right on the bat. You can tell he's very inexperienced and stuff, but so the defense wanted to say, hey, bring Lance Twiggs, which was the furry boyfriend of
Accused assassin.
Yeah, of the accused assassin. And he's, because we had saw the letters and all that kind of, they looked so made up, it was crazy. But so they said, bring him in, let him testify and tell his story to the court. That's what we want. Well, the prosecution's like, no, we don't need to bring him in. We can just play a video of him saying whatever they want him to say, or whatever they had him saying allegedly.
Right.
Well, the judge said, I agree. There's no need to make him come in. We don't need him.
Ridiculous.
He's the star witness of all this, allegedly.
Right.
Yes, he does need to be there, and yes, he does. And the fact that you're not going to... How is that a fair trial for... what's his name? I can't think of it.
Tyler Robinson.
Tyler Robertson. Whether you think he did it or not, if you're being accused and that guy says you said all these things, allegedly, have him come there and tell the story to the court, to the jury.
Right.
Don't say, well, we're just going to play a video that could have been doctored. And we live in a world of AI. Who knows that that's even a real video at this point?
With many out there really doubting the official story,
of course,
with good reason.
Yeah, this does nothing to further an attempt to find the truth.
Absolutely not. Tyler Robinson allegedly being the killer of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, in his youth, he was only 32 when he was killed. He had created this organization, Turning Point USA, that's now headed by his widow, and it has gone south, according to a lot of folks.
Very much so.
And kind of gone against Charlie's will, and it makes you wonder what's really going on out there.
Just an example of that, if you didn't know, Charlie Kirk literally called Thomas Massey his favorite politician, and he was 100% behind him, and he would have been 100% behind him even against Trump. But because Trump had come out against him, Turning Point went radio silent, didn't say a word, no endorsement, no nothing. And he had a Liberty score of 97, I think, from Turning Point. So how do you, your highest ranking ever for a candidate, and you don't endorse him?
Right.
There's something amiss there. But again, how much money did Israel pile in that race? 22 million or whatever.
Right.
So, and if you want another example, we could say, well, Tucker made another news when he came out and said the Charlie Kirk was not murdered for his stance on transgenderism, however you say it.
No.
But more likely, he said, not for sure, but more likely, it was his evolving stance on Israel, and with the Iran war and everything else. And then he said those of us that were friends of him know this. And then Blake Neff, who's the bald-headed idiot on
Charlie Kirk show.
Yeah, that took over a show with Andrew Kovic. Blake Neff immediately came out on X and said, "You're lying, and you were not a close friend. Tucker was never a close friend from him, and he'd never said that, basically. And that he was actually said that the transgenderism was what was the threat. And so he basically said the opposite. Well, all you got to do is look back to within 2 weeks of Charlie's death, Tucker went on Charlie's show with those two guys, and they interviewed him, and Blake Neff can be heard very clearly in 4K. Oh, you were one of Charlie's best friends. You were right there. Every moment, you know exactly what he was thinking. It's laughable almost. It's so corrupt, though.
Yeah, is Turning Point USA run by pathological liars?
Yes, apparently, and that's unfortunate because. I was behind them big time when all this first happened. I was like, yes, this is huge. We're going to get movements everywhere, charters in all the schools. I retract every bit of that. They're not something to be... I wouldn't push these guys in the schools right now. And that's happening all the way across the country. The ones that had started these charters for Turning Point are like, you know what, we'll do something else because we don't stand for what Turning Point stands for in the current day.
Yeah. I had initially moved to establish one of those at my school.
Yeah.
And when it became apparent that Turning Point was hiding something or maybe even taking the organization in a direction that Charlie would not have wanted,
yeah,
I withdrew my support.
And I think you were, on this issue, you were quicker than me to get to the right spot. Like, I was still wanting to give them every chance to not become what they have become.
Yeah.
But at this point, anybody who's objective can't look at what they're doing and say, hey, I can stand with this. And that's sad because that was the whole legacy, and they did a lot to help Trump get elected in 2024.
Well, it's apparent that they're not true constitutionalist conservatives because Massey was, and they didn't support him. So the defeat or the election stolen from Thomas Massey, I think is like I said, the Alamo moment for us America Firsters. We're going to remember Thomas Massey and what was done to him in Kentucky because he had the highest liberty score of any congressman and did not take any money from the foreign lobbies.
Yeah, and like I said, I think if Tucker and them, MTG and all them do some kind of party, he's probably going to be a major figure over there.
Right.
And good.
I think the America First Party is shaping up to look pretty impressive.
I wouldn't be, we'll get into her later here in a minute, but I think Tulsi Gabbard could be another one that joined.
Exactly.
Joe Kent, maybe Candace Owens even.
Please.
She's kind of doing her own thing with the Charlie Kirk deal, but as far as, and Megyn Kelly's somewhat, Alex Jones. Yep. There's a lot of people that would stand on that side, I think.
Yeah. Alex Jones has been impressed. I stopped listening to him for years there, and I've come back to him now because, he has more. Once again, he's in opposition to the establishment instead of cozying up too much to one side.
Well, to be fair, I was with them there on the whole Trump thing until Trump lost his mind.
Right. Yeah, he's not the same Trump we had a year ago even.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does finish waking all the way up here with this Israel thing and ends this war and gets back to the domestic stuff, which he is much better on.
Right.
Because,
like, Robert F. Kennedy and the vaccines, those are things that I cannot deny were huge accomplishments that I saw under Trump. And I don't say so much that that's an accomplishment of Trump as it is the will of the people has to eventually be seen through. And I think with the vaccines, that's just something that they had to do to appease us because they know there's this tidal wave coming of angry mamas who their kid was fine and functioning normally, and then a vaccine injured them. Nobody was covering their stories. And so with the RFK thing is a great shining point of this administration.
Yeah.
And them now coming out and criticizing Israel are signs that they want to keep some of us on board.
Yeah. And, that is an important one. And he might end up going to the America First people too.
Right.
If it breaks out further. But